In Austin, Texas, there was a mass shooting. Now they have more information about the suspect. They are showing his face. And wait till you hear what they just magically seem to find that the suspect had. Let's go ahead and get into it. This took place in Austin, Texas.
Up first tonight, breaking news in Austin. We have some new information tonight about the intense investigation into a mass shooting on 6th Street. 3 people died, including the suspect. It happened at and around a bar called Buford's. It is not far from the Texas Capitol and the UT campus. The university president did confirm today that students were impacted by the attack, but he did not say whether any students were killed. Police say just before 2 o'clock this morning, the suspect drove past the bar several times in an SUV before stopping and firing toward the patio. He had a pistol and a rifle, but police were able to quickly take him down. He has been identified as 53-year-old Injaga Jagnay. Now, 6th Street is, of course, a very busy area, lots of police presence, and officers were there in less than a minute.
East 6th Street is a large party atmosphere, and streets are closed. They're opened. We're mitigating a lot of people in that small space. Very proud of that. And it showed that it worked. Again, I feel like a lot of lives were saved.
In the hours since this happened, investigators began searching for a motive, and the FBI says they are looking into whether this was an act of terrorism. Federal agents.
Let's just pause right there. Okay. All right. So they already said that they were looking to see if it was an act of terrorism. And that was before they found what they found. You following me here? Before they found, we'll show you, before they found the items that they found, they already were wondering if it was an act of terrorism. So if you tell yourself it might be an act of terrorism, and you want people to believe it might be an act of terrorism, well, it sounds like if you had some items to go along with that, that would fit. We've seen this kind of thing before, where police or FBI, they've been known to plant items to fit what they want it to fit, to tell the story that they want to tell. I mean, it's the same, agency that wants you to believe that Tyler Robinson climbed up on a building, got on a rooftop, shot Charlie Kirk, disassembled this weapon that takes a long time to assemble in the first damn place, put it back in his book bag, changed clothes, went through the woods, unassembled it again. What? Okay, so keep that in mind. I warn you that because Americans, the majority of Americans, no longer stand with Israel, that they would probably try to find ways, and it could be that they could be anybody. The they doesn't have to be Israel. The they could be the CIA. But there would be false flags that pop up throughout the United States to try to scare Americans into supporting Israel. So keep that in mind. They already were wondering if it was that before they found what they found.
Spent much of the day at a home in Pflugerville, just outside of Austin, where the suspect allegedly lived. WFAA's Cole Sullivan is live for us there right now. So, Cole, what do you know about this investigation?
Teresa, law enforcement just left this house behind me within the last 2 hours or so. We saw both Austin police and federal agents out here. They were out here for most of the day serving a search warrant here, and that's critical in this investigation as they work to determine whether this was in fact a terror attack. And we're learning more information about the suspect in this case, who sources say had a shirt on with an Iranian emblem on it. Here's what.
So he just happened to have on a shirt that had an Iranian emblem on it. How convenient for the narrative that they want to portray. Let's go on further.
What else we know? The Associated Press reports that he was a naturalized U.S. citizen named Injaga Jagnay, 53 years old, killed by police overnight. Sources say that he also had a sweatshirt on saying "Property of Allah." Neighbors in this neighborhood say that he had lived here for more than 8 years, and they had not seen anything unusual until this morning when two two Austin police armored SWAT vehicles began rolling down their street. This is video they took around 11 o'clock this morning. As
Pause here. We got to say this because I don't want to forget. Having on a sweatshirt that says property of Allah, Allah means God. But again, how convenient for the narrative that they want to portray.
Austin police and the feds surrounded this home.
Because you just don't take that kind of artillery out for no reason. It was pointed down the street. First I thought he was pointing at me.
We saw a few people after police left walking into this home. A woman arrived after police were here. She spent several hours talking to police. We don't know whether she or the other folks who went into this home were relatives of that suspect. I knocked on the door, and when I did, they said they did not want to talk. Teresa.
Cole, this is all just so very tragic, but do we know what else investigators will be looking for to try to nail down whether this was indeed an act of terrorism?
The search warrants like this are key, Teresa. We know that the FBI won't just be serving physical search warrants on houses, but also on electronics, phones, looking for internet history as well, all part of this calculation. And that's so very important because the special agent in charge leading this investigation says at this point they're investigating it as a possible link to terror. They have not said whether it is for sure. We do know that Governor Abbott has ordered additional DPS troopers to head to downtown Austin, and we'll be live on 6th Street for you tonight at 10 o'clock.
So the thing is, guys, the majority, the Islam community is peaceful, and Allah means God. But they say that as if it's something that you should be afraid of without even telling you what it means. But he just happened to have all these things, right? Now, wait till I show you the suspect. And I'm really trying not to laugh, but let me show you the suspect. Here we go.
Condition. Sources identified the shooter to CBS News as Ndiaga Diagne, a naturalized U.S. citizen originally from Senegal.
So he is originally from Senegal. So it just like I don't even know where to start with this, guys. I didn't see video footage of the actual suspect. I've seen this picture, and I'm sure if you've saw this, been watching the story, you saw this picture too. I've seen this picture of the guy. I haven't seen any video footage of him actually. And in this day with AI, and this is what I've been thinking about, the way that we're questioning whether something is real or if it's AI, and this day with AI, they're trying to trick people. That's the point. AI can be used for good or it can be used for bad. And I'm very concerned that at some point when people start to realize, oh, I can use AI to make it look like someone did something that they didn't do because this is who I want to take down. And if we get to the point where we can't tell the difference, we're in deep trouble. But they said this 53-year-old guy from Senegal went on a shooting rampage and had Iran items. Let's go on.
There were indicators that on the subject and in his vehicle that indicate potential nexus to terrorism.
The gunman was wearing a sweatshirt that said property of Allah and had a Quran in his vehicle.
Pause. So property of Allah matches terrorism? A Quran matches terrorism? Do you guys see the narrative that they're trying to push here? They're basically trying to convince you that Islam is terrorism. This is what happens when they control the narrative. Oh, he had something that represented Iran. Okay, so what? If you have an Iranian flag, that means you're a terrorist? Do you see the narrative that they are pushing into the minds of the American people? Very troublesome.
Investigators searching his home north of Austin found an Iranian flag and pictures of Iranian leaders, according to officials close to the investigation.
This is what keeps the intelligence community up at night. Not people directly associated with terrorist groups, but people who become inspired because of things that are happening in the world.
Jason Allen.
And I don't even know if that guy was real. You know, like the guy that just showed up there out of nowhere. He looked like he was behind some, like there was some just pop up blue screen or something behind him. So the thing is this, right? Remember that attack that happened in New Orleans? The beginning of last year, the New Year's Eve attack. The reporter walked through his apartment and she showed everybody, look, he has a Quran here, and the Quran was wide open. Well, it was people from the Muslim community that had to explain to me that Muslims don't leave the Quran open. It was just like everything that you could need to say this guy was following terrorism just happened to be right there in his apartment for everybody to see. How convenient. So we don't know. That's the reality. We really don't know. Here's a little bit more information about him that I want to bring in here. What we know about the suspect in the deadly Austin bar shooting. Let's just jump down to this part here because the other part you guys already heard about. Let's get into who he is. All right. They said that he's a naturalized U.S. citizen from Senegal. Diagne entered the U.S. in March 2000 on a B2 tourist visa. CNN and the Associated Press reported, citing the Department of Homeland Security. It says in June of 2006, he became a lawful permanent resident after marrying a U.S. citizen and was naturalized in 2013. On March 1st, authorities raided a home in Pflugerville, Texas, a city just north of Austin. Davis said there were indications that that's where Diagne was living at the time of the shooting. Public records show a San Antonio address for Diagne and an address for relatives in Pflugerville. Federal officials probing possible, again, terrorism links. So here we go with them trying to connect it to terrorism. And the big key things here is an Iranian flag and a sweatshirt that said property of Allah on it. So this is what I was saying before, how certain symbols just automatically now they point to and say that means that person is linked to terrorism or a Quran or whatever. These false flags are being done on purpose. The whole idea is to scare Americans into believing that Islam is bad, Muslims are bad, Iran is bad, all these, anybody but Israel. You ever notice that? Everybody in the Middle East is bad except for Israel. So keep that in mind. These things wouldn't be happening if the majority of Americans still stood with Israel. Israel has been embarrassed on the world stage. And it's not just, South Africa taking them to, the international court, taking them to The Hague. That in itself is embarrassing. But all the protests that erupted all over the world against them, they are no longer admired the way that they used to be. And I think that itself was only a matter of time anyway. So we'll have to wait to find out more information about this. But all we know right now is that they put up some guy's picture and said this guy was linked to terrorism. And we found this and this. How do we know those things existed and they weren't planted there? And even if they were there, so what? These are the questions we have to ask ourselves, guys. We have to pay close attention to everything that is going on. And it's only going to get crazier. I'm telling you, it's only going to get crazier. If you think that Israel won't use some type of attack on us, you are wrong. In fact, the same way that Rachel Maddow and what's the girl's name? Faulkner. Rachel Maddow and Faulkner from Fox News are trying to tell you that Iran is going to come after and attack Americans. The same way that they're telling you that about Iran, which their missiles can't reach us anyway, it would actually be Israel that would be the one to attack us. Their missiles can reach us. They have a nuclear weapon. they can always use the Samson option. They can strike in different ways, including these false flags. Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.